I just put it in there because I could not fold these for you. Usually I would score them and fold them and then it would well in the smaller ones. But I wanted you to actually see how this part here is done without just doing that for you. So I'm going to demonstrate how to cut it. You guys will use the one I have pre-cut for you today, just so that you don't have to worry about doing that on a time crunch. And then you can come back and re-watch in order to do your second one that is not pre-cut. So that will be how we'll do that one. You should also have this little baggie inside that has some gilded leafing. It's all nicely labeled for you. That was so satisfying with those labels on there, I have to say. And then there's a little container that's labeled with heat and stick. So we're going to need both of those. Those are actually for this project. So when we're doing this one, just remind me that you're going to need this little baggie. And I'm going to try to make a template. It is not something that I have really had much experience with, but I'm going to attempt making a template for you guys. Just a drawing of how you can come back and do this front step easel as well. So those will be some things you can watch for on the page later. Maybe not later today because I'll need some time to play around with it. But I'm just deciding how messy we want to go right off the hop. I think
do the most persnickety one first.
We're going to do this one first.
Okay.
So your kits will be labeled as, oh gosh, I didn't label my own. I usually do so that I know.
One says happy birthday. That's not happy birthday.
That's thank you. Thank you very much. That's what I used was the greetings on them. Sometimes I label them by the greeting and sometimes I label them by the technique. So that one's the one that says thank you. Thank you, Diane. And for this one, that's the one that you do need your little bag of the gilded leafing and the heat and stick powder. So I'll just quickly show you guys all the cards first before we get started. This one is the just want to say it's happy birthday. It uses a bunch of stuff from that suite, the acetate, pattern paper. I love that die. This is the other one. And you probably couldn't tell this from the photo, but it is a front step easel. It's kind of hard to tell. And yours is slightly altered. I was showing this to Laura. Mine bends there and I didn't like that. I followed another template, so I altered it a little bit so that yours do not bend there. Yours will stay nice and upright. But we'll do that after. So we're going to start with this one. This is the thank you one. I'll walk you guys through what is in your kit. So you guys should have you'll have 2 envelopes in there, and then you'll have 2 card bases, and it is just meant to be like this. We're going to, like Laura did, we'll just do one, but I'll walk you through what's here. You'll have 2 white layers. Those are for the inside. You should have 2 pieces of acetate. That is for this window that we have here. And you will have a template, a negative space like this, and a negative space like this. We are going to use these if you have a Stamparatus. If you do not have a Stamparatus, then you will just stamp right normally. You'll have 2 of these Stitch So Sweetly dies. There's no surprise there. 2 more layers of the subtle embossed on white. And then you should have 6 of these Pretty Peacock. I always want to call it Island Indigo. You should have 4 pieces of Bumblebee, 4 pieces of the DSP in this Bumblebee pattern. And then in this baggie, you should have a baggie of embellishments and 2 stems and 2 flowers. So we are going to just,
sorry, Alanna, you said 2 window sheets, right?
Yeah, so you have 1.
I have 1. That's okay.
Are they clung together?
I don't think so. No.
I owe you a window sheet.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yep.
Maybe it's stuck to something else. I'll go through my stuff again.
Okay. So I'm going to just keep out one of everything just to put the rest of this away. I hope the rest of you have all of your pieces there.
Found it. It was static to something else, so we're good.
They're very clingy. And
What
I do,
color ink do we need?
what color of ink?
Yeah.
So pool party, and if you have it, Pretty Peacock. If you don't have Pretty Peacock, Island Indigo would be a good substitution. I think you have Island Indigo, right, Diane?
I thought I did, but I couldn't find it this last night. I posted Cabana.
Might even work.
That way, not quite maybe. Lost Lagoon.
That might work. If you just stamp it on a piece of scrap and see if it coordinates with these. It's not going to be an exact match, but if it coordinates just to give this little bit of extra color, then that's really all you need.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus first, and I will show you guys what I'm going to do with these here. So for easy practice, we're going to do the stem first. And this you also need Old Olive for anybody that doesn't have that handy. I need that for this stem here.
Do you need more than one of the, I don't know what they're called, windows for the Stamparatus, or just one?
More than one plate?
Yes.
If you, yes. Everybody should have at least two. So that is ideal. It's better to do both of them than having to flip it over. But if you have all your stamps laid up on one or lined up on one for now and you don't want to take them off, as long as you have one that we can use both sides of it, then you're still good.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anyone here that does not have Stamparatus?
I have it, but I've never used it.
Me too. I've never used it.
Okay. Are you guys game for giving this a whirl?
Yeah.
Okay. And so otherwise, everybody else has one, right?
Yep.
I got mine.
Okay. So then this will be the only method I'll show you. Probably. I may even just quickly explain how you could do the other version. So what I did, I took this negative space from the leaf and we included these so that in case you all had one or for whoever did, this is just the easiest way to line this up. So I'm going to take this leaf image from your art gallery stamp set. So that's this one. And put it in the center of this negative space. Then I've just attached my piece down with this because I do want this magnet or this piece of paper to stay put.
Does it come with a magnet or?
Yes. So if you flip this platform over on the back, I'm going
Oh,
to
there's magnets.
they should be right here.
Got
One
them.
on the side.
Got them.
And
Like I said, have not used this yet.
they're very magnetic. So try to not let these two clap together because you will-
Okay, they clap together now. What do I do?
Okay. So here, so I'll come back to that in a second. For
Okay.
anybody else, this is why I have washi tape around one. That gives you something. I'm going to clap these together just so you can see. This gives me something to sort of pull on to get those apart. So it's kind of, now, so Charlene,
Yeah.
oh, if you can at all, take them, see how if you can grab it here and sort of try to separate like that. It's pretty hard because they're super magnetic, but is it working now?
I got arthritis.
Oh,
I think
no.
I might be hooped. Oh, I'll go get a grabber. Hold on. A grabber.
While she's doing that, the other thing about clapping these together is you can break the magnets. So
Yeah.
you do have to be careful.
We do sell the magnets separately if you ever lose them or break them, but I have heard that they have been shattered.
Yeah.
They should say that right on the, do not let these come together.
They should put a warning, like tape them to the back of this unit and put that warning right on the tape.
So,
Yeah.
Anna,
Oh,
Yeah.
yours is white underneath. Is that you just put paper under there?
Okay, so perfect question. So mine, it should come with one grid sheet.
No.
And if you, I can give you one. You can buy the pad of grid sheets separately.
Right.
So remind me next time I see you to just give you one of mine so you can at least test it out and see if you like it.
Okay.
We also sell a deluxe mat. So I actually have two in here. So mine's probably a little bit too thick, but I have both of them in there. We come with this black one. And then the deluxe mat kind of has that grid sheet built right into it, and then it's wipeable, but sometimes you need a piece of paper.
Oh, hang on.
Yay, Charlene.
You take that
now what do I do? You take the washi tape
take the
and
foam
just.
piece off, Alanna.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
that?
There's a foam piece under it. You take that off.
Don't leave it in there.
Okay, but the foam piece is hiding the grid sheet, the grid lines.
Yes, that's okay for now, because that grid is built right in. And
Okay.
we need the foam in there to build up the base that we're stamping on.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, if we don't have that foam in there, our polymer stamp will never reach the paper.
Okay.
So we just put it, so we just put the foam in there and it's black then, but well.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, people.
So where is your black part?
Pardon me?
Where is your foam part?
Okay, so the very base of your stamparatus, this is like a shiny, it's built right in.
Yeah.
Stays there. And then you guys will have, if this is brand new to you, you're gonna have this black foam piece that should have come in it.
Yep.
Okay. I just have this extra piece. It's called the deluxe mat that we can buy separately. I think it's around.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm gonna just put that underneath my black one. So you guys will just do your black one. And then I hope that it is high enough. Mine's a little too high, so I think yours should be good with just the black foam mat, but let me know if it's not. Okay. So once we've held this, you want to tuck this negative space right into the corner. Then we know it's staying in the same spot. So push that into the corner. You know it's nice and square. Are you guys all set up now?
Yep.
Okay. And then lay your leaf stamp face down with the flat side up. It's the only way it will match up in that image.
Yep.
And then you're going to take this window. If you haven't put the window on yet, I'll backtrack a little, just show you guys this. These clear plates that come with it, take these hinges and pop it into here. I'll bring it a little more in view. Can you see that there?
Yep.
Okay. I just have to move it back so that I have room to do the rest.
Oh, my hand.
Okay. So now I just need to readjust it, make sure it's nice and centered. I'm just going to grab that now. I've closed that flap on there. Now I can grab that stamp, and then what we do next is take your die cut piece and place it in here.
Oh.
It's so fun.
Oh, now I see what, oh.
Yeah.
I love, Charlene, I love your excitement. It's so exciting.
So if you're going to be doing multiples of an image that needs to be die cut, it is worth your effort to just make yourself a negative space. If you've got the stamparatus, make yourself a negative space. And then every time you just have to pop your die cut piece into that one negative space that you can use repeatedly, and just pop them in there and keep going. And then if you miss a little part, you can just, you'll see, I'll show you this. So we're going to take our old olive and just gently tap it on there. You want to be careful not to rock and roll so you don't get it all over your plate. But if you do get it on the plate, it is not the end of the world. So I've inked up my image, and then now you can just press that down on there. There you go. So let's say I missed a little bit or I didn't put enough ink on there. When this is always going to be in the same spot, you can just add more ink and flap again.
Right.
So this way, if you goof up on your die cutting, I've done that so many times where I stamp first and then you go to die cut and something shuffles and it's not right anymore, so you've got to redo it. This can save you some of that grief. So how did everybody do with that?
Awesome. So we do both of those and then,
Yeah, you may as well do those. It won't take you very long to do those now. We're only going to put one full card together.
yeah, but at least it'll be stamped.
While you've got this ready, you may as well go for that. So good idea. I'm going to do my other one. I think I put it all away in the bag, but
Awesome possum. And we do the same with the flower.
so the flower is going to be a little different.
Okay.
There's like a couple extra steps with the flower.
Gonna make me work for it, are you?
Yeah. Oh, we should get this card out of the way. It's messy, so our area might be a little messy after while we're doing the next card, but it's definitely the most, it's got the most steps to it, that one. There we go. I did this card actually for a swap I was in, and this Stamparatus was absolutely the way to go. So then you can keep a paper towel, or what I have done, I think I have it handy, I just don't have it.
It's funny because I rarely see you use the Stamparatus.
I use it a lot when I'm doing mass stuff or die cutting. Die cut stuff I love. It's just in class, it's not everybody will have it, so I have to try to do things the other way. But it's a good reminder to pull it out. This is another thing you can use to clean up your stamps. This is a little piece I cut off of a stamp chamois. It's just not wet, so I'm not going to use it right now, but you can see I have used it. It's very dirty, but I cut off like a 1 inch by 1 inch piece just to keep handy for wiping that off. But paper towel is the way to go for this moment. Okay. So you do have 2 plates with your Stamparatus.
Yep.
Janet, you use yours quite a bit, right?
Yeah, I like it. Although with new stamps, I find it a little bit frustrating, like because like this is the 3rd time I'm stamping to try and get the leaf to go all green because they're not conditioned yet.
Oh,
That's where if you stamp it in the Versamark, like we talked about this morning,
Yeah,
it'll grab it better.
that's what I should have done.
I use my Stamparatus all the time, especially when I bring stuff to the cabin. I don't need to bring my whole case of block. It's a lot lighter and easier.
Oh,
And then I don't have to worry about sizes or if I have the right size or not the right size.
true.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I just love it because if you pardon my language, screw up, which I tend to want to do most of the time, then you can fix it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I like. It's not ruined.
Especially a greeting, if you've like die cut a piece and you want to put a greeting on it and then you screw up after you've die cut the piece for the greeting.
I'm a little bit anal.
Yeah. Okay, so for this image now, I am going to magnet this right into the corner.
And that image, Alanna, is the full flower, correct?
So this one here.
Okay.
This is the one we're going to do first. And for this part, I'm going to just close up my old olive. We don't need that anymore. Not on this one anyway. We will need it again later. But we're going to use the Pool Party and Pretty Peacock or whatever 2 blues you have. So
take the leaf out. And put the flower in.
sometimes I get lazy and I don't go set up the Stamparatus. So I did actually try to do this leaf when I did this for a swap. I did do a few of them and I screwed up like 3 of them in a row. So then I just decided, no, go set it all up. It's worth it.
Just want to grab my other one.
Okay, so how are you guys with this step? Is it okay to go ahead?
Yep.
Okay, so that's on there. Give your flap a close. Oh, it shuffled a little bit, but I should be good because that was square in the corner. Sometimes I will line it up to somewhere else, so then it might be a little off, but I had that square in the corner, so I'm pretty confident that I'll still be okay. So now that's on there. So when Janet was saying, except for when they're brand new, sometimes when they're brand new, they're so sticky that when you're lining it up, it actually grabs whatever you're trying to line it up with. And so then you just have to do it again. But
So we're using the light color or the dark color?
we're going to start with the light. So I've got my pool party and I'm going to just ink this up. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber and you've got ink spots, they are amazing for using on here because then you're less likely to rock. Just some little fluffs on mine. So I'm pulling those off and inking again.
Alanna, was it you that gave the tip? I've seen this multiple times, but where if you're inking up on one of those plates, if you put an ink pad underneath the plate, it actually creates a perfect surface to load your ink.
So it's flat.
So it's flat. Yeah.
So
Oh, that's a good idea because I always make such a mess.
Yeah.
that's a really good suggestion. I always forget that.
Thank
I don't
you.
know. You're welcome. I love that tip because I otherwise end up with ink everywhere.
Well,
Then
that's
you-
what happens. My plates get so dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often end up with it down the seam here. So I've got to remember to wipe that. Okay, so this has the pool party on there. Now this part is a little more likely to get ink on your plate, but maybe with this under here, it'll be a little more friendly. So now I'm taking the darker blue. Again, mine is pretty peacock, but whatever color you're using, it's just kind of like a tone on tone here. And I'm just going to rock around the edges. So you can see just the tip of that petal. So just kind of rock, rock, and then just on an angle. Your pad needs, you don't want this pad straight down. This one, I'm purposely tilting it. So I've just got dabs around the edge there. So this is like rock and roll. We used to do this years ago. And then I'm going to just wipe some of that off the edge before I go. So now that that is inked up with both colors on there at once, now I will stamp that on there. So then you have your two-toned image. And I'm going to leave that in here. We still need that there. So here is where you can pull this out and flip it over. And I'm going to just clean this off just so that I don't get it. Since I'm going to lay it on top of that ink pad again, I just don't want that ink to get everywhere. So I'm just
Well,
wiping.
if it didn't do it, can I repeat that step?
It didn't work.
Well, the top part of my flower didn't take much ink.
Yep, you should be able to repeat it. So maybe just wipe off the dark ink, like wipe off the tips so that you're not putting that dark ink onto your light pad.
Okay.
So while Janet's redoing that part, you can grab your other image with the detail. So this is the solid and then that's the detail. You want to get that one ready.
And what color are we doing that one in?
Okay, so this one, there's going to be a few steps that we want to have ready before we go ahead and ink this up.
Okay.
Okay, so it's going to be Versamark is what you will need handy for this one.
Okay.
And you will need the heat and stick powder that I gave you. And some sort of tray or paper, like how Wendy told you guys earlier. Oh, wait, you were in the breakout room. Okay, so Wendy uses a piece of scrap paper, and she does her embossing on that. I have a few different methods. I have this old stamp case that I'm going to do the heat and stick in. And then I have this embossing tray that I'm going to do the gold leafing or gilded leafing in. So we will need those handy, but I'll let you guys catch up and get this ready. How's everybody doing?
Oh,
I should have done Versamark on my stamps.
Good.
Doesn't want to take the color.
okay, I'm mixed up. So we did this, where we did the, right?
I'm
And then I
gonna-
took that stamp off, and now I'm supposed to put on this, the solid one?
So did you do the solid one already?
No,
Can
yeah,
you show me your die cut? If you move it a little more towards your other shoulder. There we go. And then up a little. It's got a glare. I can't
yeah.
see the color
It's
on it.
I kind of face the,
No, that looks okay.
is this-
I think
so
you did-
what are we supposed to, where are you? Where are we? There we,
Darlene, that looks okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
now what are we doing next after this?
Now you're gonna put that, I'll move my stamp so you can see. And then I'm gonna go back to my view here. Okay, so you're gonna put it back into this negative space. So tuck your negative space back into the corner here.
Okay,
Place the die cut back in there.
yeah.
And then with the detail image, so I still have my
That's okay.
sitting here. You're gonna take the detail image and face it down on top of what you've already pre-stamped. So you are
Okay.
totally good. You've
That's the one that has a little hole in it.
yes. Okay. So then you're gonna grab that again with this here, and you probably have to peel that off. See, my stamps have been used a pile of times and it still sometimes wants to grab it and pull it with it. So is everybody good? You've got something ready to do your heat and stick in?
Oh, my heat and stuff, oh geez Louise.
Do we need a heat tool, Alanna?
Where's that heat and stick?
Do we need a heat tool like a heat gun or?
Yes.
Yep. So how-
Alanna,
yep.
why does yours look so white in the middle?
My pool party probably just needs to be re-inked.
Oh, okay, so could you do me a favor and just put your stamp on top so I think I have mine lined up right? Because it's not a perfect lineup for sure.
That's right, yeah. So with a lot of times with the watercolor images, they will not exactly line up.
Okay, so I guess the best bet is to do the bottom and it'll be eclectic from there.
Yeah, like here, I'll show you this. You can see there, the way the gold leafing lines up. The gold leafing
Yes.
here is the next stamp. It is not perfectly lined up to there. And
Okay.
once we put the gold leafing on, it's gonna look a little even more
Yeah, okay. So we
water.
need a little dish for our gold leafing or our heat and stick.
Something for your heat and stick and something for your gold leafing.
Okay, I'll
And
be right back.
done. And just have a little spot handy that after we have stamped this Versamark, we're going to take our stamparatus and we are going to move it away. I am not sure if the magnets will do anything with this gold leafing, but the gold leafing is very staticky and it likes to jump all over the place. So I'm just going to, after we do this next stamp, I'm going to move the stamparatus clear from my table.
While everyone's getting ready to do the heat emboss and gold leafing, we should do another bingo poll because it's 3:30.
Oh, yes.
So I will share my screen. Actually, hang on.
Okay, and are you good to write those down?
Yeah. Oops. All right, so next number is N32. And I-17, O-67, B1 and last number 065.
That was not a good round.
Terrible.
Okay, so how is everybody doing?
Good.
Okay, so I have my heating stick ready.
We need our heat gun then, right?
Yep. Okay. I am going to close these up.
I accidentally stopped the live stream on Facebook. Hang on.
Okay. While we're waiting for the live stream to get going again, you guys may want to just close up anything around that you don't want powder or gold leafing on. So close up your ink pads. And after we use our Versamark, close that one up too. Okay. Flap your lid. Speaking from experience after doing 20 some of these.
Okay. It is heading live again.
Okay, so everybody has this lined up. I'm okay to just pick this back up on here.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure everybody was on the same page. Okay, so now we're all good. I've got this one here, the detailed one, lined up and ready to stamp on here. So I'm going to ink this up with Versamark. And I'm going to put the lid right back on there. Okay. Now, I'm going to take this and coat it with the heat and stick powder.
Oh, I missed something. Okay.
Mine is not, I might have like totally forgot. I don't think I actually stamped that. So don't do what I did. How's that for brilliant? I'm gonna ink this up just to make sure. I think I forgot to actually close this and stamp.
I wondered about that, so I caught that.
Thank you. That looks a lot better. Like, why is nothing sticking to this? Because I didn't actually stamp. That looks so much better.
Alanna, do you have the 3 o'clock numbers? They weren't posted. It doesn't look like.
Whoops.
They are 3 o'clock. I wrote down the 2:30 ones.
Okay. I also have the 2:30 ones, but okay, I will figure it out.
Right. So we're okay?
Yeah, keep going.
All right. So I'm not going to heat this just yet. I want to make sure that I've got my gold leafing now. So I'm going to set that down. The powder is on there. It's okay for a minute. It's not going to not work out by not doing it immediately. So I'm taking this out of the way. This stamp is still on here. It's sticky. I don't want gold leafing sticking to it. So this is moving clear away from where I'm working. And now I'm going to grab a different tray that I'm going to use with the gold leaf. I've got this one handy here, and I am actually going to use my embossing buddy on this just in case this will help. I don't know if it will, but when I use this gold leafing to do all my swaps, that stuff literally jumped out of the tray when I went to move it after. So hopefully this will help. One other thing, just as a caution with this, I have heard that you do not want to rinse this stuff down the drain. So if you do get it anywhere, supposedly it's not good for the water system or something like that. There's a warning.
Can you use like your dust buddy?
Yeah, I just dusted the tray and the bottom of the tray. And actually, while I'm at it, I'm gonna just like dust off my work area. Just for good measure. Who knows if it'll help, but worth a shot, because literally like I used my big tray when I did 20 some of these. And when I picked it up, anywhere I touched underneath it, it was like jumping beans. Like they were just like, boing, like little bits of it were going crazy. So it's definitely very fun to use, but very staticky. Okay, so this is handy. Got my gold leafing. I have the big tub that it came in. You guys will have your little tub there and a scrap sheet or something like that that you're gonna put your flour on once it's heated, okay? So I'm gonna just pick this flour up with my tweezers because since it's already pre-die cut, and I pre-die cut it for you guys so that you wouldn't have to also stop and die cut it. If you wanted to do this the opposite way, where you do all these steps first and then die cut, then you don't necessarily need to have tweezers because you'll have more paper to hold. But all right, so we're ready. I'm going to use my heat gun and I'm going to heat up this powder. And then as soon as it's heated, I'm going to be ready to put that gold leafing on there, because this heat and stick, heating it up is going to make it sticky. And that sticky part is what we want the gold leafing to stick to. So that is the reasoning behind this. And you'll be able to see, I think Laura was talking about this in class earlier, you will be able to see sort of when it goes from powdery to glossy. And when it makes that change to glossy is when we know that that part of the image is set or has become sticky now. Okay, so that is all glossy now. This part I want to be somewhat quick and efficient. So I'm just going to pull some of this out of here. And you'll want to grab more than what's needed initially, and then just brush that over.
This must have been a pain to package.
It was interesting.
So you just brush it over with your finger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people will use a brush or some fancy tool, but they just showed us when they used this at on stage, they just used their hands, just poured it over, and there are different methods you can apply it with. You don't have to do a stamped image. You could lay a strip of sticky strip, like your tear and tape. If you wanted to do stripes of it, you could just lay a stripe of sticky strip or tear and tape.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to give you guys the bingo numbers.
I think we just saw them.
Did you see them on Facebook?
Yeah,
Melanie
Okay.
is keeping charge. So that's the 11th set, right?
That is the 11th set, correct.
All right.
Perfect. You guys are working away there?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm on my
Excellent.
last card.
Oh, good. I can't wait to see what you guys make.
Well,
What
I
you
think
come
you
back
see
with.
what I've been making. I haven't been making anything new. I'm just catching up on the ones I missed.
Yeah, catching up on yeah, exactly.
Good. All right. Well, I will leave you to it. I'm learning how to use this gold foil that Alanna's, well, I mean, I've used some of it, but her cards are always so complex.
That should be fun. You'll have gold all over the place.
everywhere. So yeah, we're using that right now, and I will come back and check on you guys in a little while.
Have
Hey.
fun.
Thanks, you too.
I haven't opened my gold foil. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Some up out of there and try to get it back into your container. You're right, though. It was definitely interesting packing those for you guys and trying to get it nicely under the lid. The heat and stick was much more friendly to package for you. There we go. And then if you have these leftover bits that just are too small to get in there, but you don't want to rinse out your container into the water system, I just took a wet paper towel and wiped it out, and then it stuck to the wet paper towel so that I wasn't running it down the drain. And that's just a tip I happened to catch on one of our demonstrator pages. So
It's very pretty.
I
The
put a
two-way glue stick worked wonderful.
awesome.
I put a piece of paper inside my black tray and then I don't have to really pick it up. I'm just gonna fold up my paper and throw it out.
Okay, so follow that. And I wonder if it would jump with the paper in there to sort.
Well, I static the paper too, so it seems to be working okay.
Awesome.
I don't seem to have it everywhere, except now I want to do the other one.
I know. I would have done the second one while we had all this stuff out.
That would have been good. But I see what you mean. It does fly around.
It does. It's just so pretty. I just love that.
It is very pretty.
I'll
So-
show you. I have my gold leafing in a box, just a cardboard box that I have, and I've put some wax paper at the bottom,
Yeah.
and that seems to be reducing the static a little bit.
Oh,
Not
Can
a
you
lot,
spotlight
but
that,
a
Laura?
little bit. What's that?
Can you spotlight that?
Is that like a photo box?
Yeah, it's a photo box that wasn't holding photos anymore. There we go.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So there's just a little bit of wax paper here. And it doesn't seem to be quite as staticky.
And when you open up this container and dump it into there, it actually expands quite a bit. Like this is super light and it packs down in there. So is that just one container of leafing, Laura?
Yeah, that's one container. I wasn't going to be fooling around with the container of gold leafing.
Yeah.
I
That's not
wonder
my
if you
style.
put a bounce sheet.
I thought of that, but I can't handle bounce sheets. I don't have any of those chemical cleaners in my house. So that wasn't an option for me, but try it. And if it works, that's a great tip.
Well, I use wool dryer balls, so
They give me a headache. So we got rid of them so long ago.
I'm an enviro freak too. So
Yeah.
Okay. So now we should have one flower ready. It's ready. And
it's beautiful.
you guys to stamp your greeting. So to stamp the greeting so that it is lined up, what we are going to do is take our card base. This is going to go just right inside there with equal space around it. And this is going to end up on the front of the card, but I want that little thank you to be just above that and almost right up to this right side edge. So I use the thank you. If you need a sorry or a best wishes or I don't know, happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm thinking of you would be too long.
I think so. Yeah. It won't have enough room for this rectangle.
Right.
So I think I will do the thank you on mine.
I'm gonna do best wishes.
I'll send a thank you card right away. So I think that's going to be what I use there. Now, Laura shared this tip last weekend. I think it was last weekend, but recently anyway. If you put your greeting diagonally on your block as opposed to straight, you're more likely to actually get a straight stamped image because when you have it somewhat straight on your block, it's hard to gauge whether this is straight or your block is straight, and then you might stamp a little crooked. So if you make it purposely crooked on your block, it's a little easier to get it all lined up.
And what color do you use for that?
So for mine, I'm going to use Versamark and gold powder. If you guys do not have those, you could go with whatever the dark color was, whatever the light color was. You could use even black. So
And
for my-
I'm sorry, it's going on that large white piece.
yes, so the large white piece again, it's on the card base with the flap
Okay.
at the top,
Right.
equal space around, and then take one of these pretty peacock pieces and line it up to the bottom of the pretty peacock card base.
Okay.
This is how we're going to know that we have stamped the thank you high enough up. So I'm going to just take my embossing buddy. I'm sorry they don't exist anymore. And I'm going to ink that up with Versamark. I have my before I actually stamp that onto here. I have my gold powder and a tray ready to go. If you guys are just inking it up, you don't need to worry about this part, but if you're choosing to heat emboss, just have your paper or a tray and your powder handy. Now I've stamped this with Versamark, and I'm gonna go not right at the edge, but fairly close to the edge so that I know I have left enough room for the rectangle there. Okay, so I've stamped that, and now I can pull this out from here, put the gold embossing powder on. And then you can heat set it. 1 second, I'm gonna just move my tray so that I don't blow that embossing powder all over. Which inks did you guys use?
I used Lost Lagoon.
Oh, that'll look nice. Right, and then I'm just putting my powder back in here because I will do the other one later. Definitely more efficient to do them both at once. Just, I should probably try and go a little faster. Okay. So you can go ahead and put your card layer on here if you'd like to. I'm going to just glue that with combo glue. Get that out of the way. All right, now next what you guys want to do with this flap here, you're going to take your double-sided tape and run it along this edge. So just right along that top part and then just inside the fold here as well. Some of you have probably done a similar card with Laura and I. I think in one of our other clubs we did one like this, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we did.
This one has the tape here and the tape here. Only remove this backing for now. And I'm taking this window sheet and I'm tucking it right up to the fold. So don't jam it into the fold, just sort of place it just so that it's nicely against it. And then with this in place now, and that one piece of tape removed, now you can just push that down. And then that will help keep that lined up. I can see, just like I was showing you guys on that ice cream card earlier, this overlaps just a little bit. So I'm gonna take this chance before I tape anything else down. And I'm gonna just clean up that little bit of window sheet that is surpassing the edge of my pretty peacock. So it's just a little hair, but I know it'll bug me. So now it's gone. And then now you can reach in here and you can take this extra piece of backing off and that will stick down now. Okay. You can also take another one of these panels of Pretty Peacock, and before you put any tape on it, just make sure that when it's tucked into the fold, that it doesn't exceed this front panel. If it's a little, mine is good, but a lot of times it's just slightly off. I actually do need to trim just a tiny bit off, but I just make sure that it's not sticking out further than the one on the front. And if it is, again, just take it out of there, trim a little hair off. Take a slight hair off that, like it's very thin, it's not much at all. And then now I will put tape, make sure that it's good. Yep, it's good, it's not exceeding past that. So now what I can do is put tape again on either side of this panel. I like to put the cardstock on the inside of the window sheet just so that you don't see this. I don't like seeing that when you open up the card. So this is really just to sandwich it. It gives it a little bit more stability, and then you don't see that tape there. And I'm just going to again pull only one off first while I line it up, and I'm going to line it up to the one that you see from the front to make sure that I don't end up screwing it up from the other side and then having it stick out past there. Okay, and then you can reach in here again and pull that backing off. You're like me and you pull all them off at once and then something doesn't go down right. You wish you would have done that right to begin with. So far we have this transparent flap and it's sandwiched between two layers. And now we're going to get another of the pretty peacock layers. Same thing, we're going to run tape on both ends of that, or both sides. You can see I have one edge that's not a super clean cut, so I'm just going to quickly trim that up a tiny bit. Peel both off after telling you guys not to do that. So I'm lining
on the bottom of the acetate again.
I'm lining this up along the bottom of the card. So I pressed the acetate down and then I just lined it up to this pretty peacock layer. My acetate was slightly off on one side, so I just lined it up to the peacock underneath. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then now I can go ahead to the inside, peel this little backing off. And again, I'll sandwich it with this last piece that I have right here. So I'm going to just tape this now to the back. And before I tape it down, I'll do the same thing. I'll just give it a quick quality check and make sure my two pieces are the same size. And I am going to take just a little hair off that one as well. Get into mass production and sometimes they're slightly off. You guys ever find that?
Occasionally.
I love that little cutter for this reason. I wasn't sure I would use it much when I first got it, and I use it all the time. I wish they'd bring it back out.
Yeah, it's not available right now, is it?
No, it was so this year when you join during Celebration, you get all of that DSP, those 200 sheets. Last year it was that cutter, and they let us pre-purchase it as demonstrators. We could buy one. And then they must have had leftovers, so they did actually release it to we could buy one, or we could buy them in June, but they sold out real quick. Okay, so here we are. We've got the flap, the window here with both ends sandwiched between the pretty peacock. Now you'll take your bumblebee layers, and we're going to end up, oops, I kept one extra out. We're going to layer these pattern pieces onto the bumblebee, and then we're going to layer the bumblebee onto the pretty peacock. Does that make sense for everybody? Good.
Yep. Does anything get raised with dimensionals, Alanna, or is everything going down flat?
It will get raised with dimensionals. So after that, I ended up attaching the pretty peacock layer with dimensionals carefully, just right behind here and right behind up there.
Okay, but not the bumblebee.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not these layers. I just glued them straight down.
Perfect.
This card actually started with the DSP I used on the other card. I will have to like drastically speed up. We have a half hour left to do
Yeah.
more cards. This should be the most time intensive one, getting it out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna glue these down.
We're gonna have to do more bingo numbers right away.
Right. We maybe finish this one and then do those. Would that be okay?
I think so.
Alrighty. So we should have this. And then next we are gonna take the
Oh,
subtle,
son of a beehive.
what?
I put my pattern down, forgot to put my solid underneath. Not the end of the world.
Yeah,
It's all good.
Nobody's gonna know.
nope.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
They use the same colors, so it really all ties in. It's all good. Okay, so next what you want to do is take your linen thread and your subtle white layer. I have the bow sitting off to the left, so I'm going to start with leaving enough of a tail from that point. I'll hold it in place and wrap around twice. So this will now meet in the middle there, and now I have enough left over to tie a bow. I am not yet going to tie the bow. I'm going to just scoot this down a little bit. I'm going to just flip this upside down. And I'm going to put tape on the back. And before I tie the bow, I'm going to tape this thing down to the pretty peacock piece. Because this is textured already, trying to wrap around and tie a bow is a little tricky when that paper is so pliable. Because I've textured it, that's the reason I'm taping it down and then tying. It just gives it a lot more leverage or stability to.
Sorry, Alanna, you went around 3 times, right?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have like one full wrap like that.
Yeah. And then a half.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, thought you went around 3 times. And then I was ending up with really short tails.
Yeah. No
Oh.
worries. Okay. So this is what I now have. Taped on the back like that. And the full wrap, and then where these ends will meet to equate to the second wrap. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then now you'll peel those backings off and tape it down to your peacock layer. Pretty peacock stitch so sweetly. People will probably get sick of seeing me use that stitch so sweetly.
Definitely one I reach
Definitely
for.
Yeah. It has been worth its price in my house. My die cut helpers here know exactly which one that is. Okay, so stick that down. We're almost there with this one. Okay, and then now with this bow down here, I'm gonna just flip this over before I even tie the bow. And I'm gonna place it where it's going to go here. So it's nothing stuck down yet. I've just flipped it upside down. And then now you can see across here, you don't want to exceed the line of this top panel. And from the bottom up, you don't want to exceed the line of this panel here when you're putting your dimensionals on. So 2 here and 2 here. Don't go any higher up. Otherwise, when we flip it open, you're going to see those dimensionals from inside the window sheet. So that is the reason for the careful placement of the dimensionals on this. And adding this panel gives this whole card the stability it needs to not just flop when you go to stand it up or any of that. Okay, so now you can just peel these off. Did everybody catch that? This is where I've placed the dimensionals.
Yes.
I went quickly ahead of myself there and just started peeling them and didn't ask you guys that. Okay, so now with those on there, backing's peeled off. Now I can flip this over and just make sure that I can see my full greeting from within that window and center this. I tried to do like equal spacing top and bottom panels. So I had the same amount of the rectangle here as here. And then I'm going to just trail these off to the side here while I place the flower on. So with the flower, you just need to put, I kind of placed that there. I have a dimensional, a couple of mini ones behind this leaf and a couple of mini ones behind this leaf. I did not bother putting anything behind the stem. It is just too small. So while you guys are putting these pieces together, what do you think of the gilded leafing?
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Pretty.
Will any of you use it again?
Absolutely.
I hope you'll at least use your containers full. Use that stuff up. Oh, Laura did it. That's okay.
Did your leaves go on dimensionals, Alanna?
Yep. So I used a couple of mini dimensionals at the top, one at the top, one at the bottom, one at the top, one at the bottom. And if you only have the full size dimensionals, just cut them in half.
I put my best wishes over a little too far, so that's a good lesson learned. Should have been closer to the edge because I had to put my thing right on the edge, but it still looks nice.
Well, you did better than I did, Janet, because I put happy birthday and happy birthday is way too long.
Oh,
I did this same thing.
you'll have to put a little white, like, what do they call that stamp? Is it the window, that long, narrow one with the rounded edges?
Word window. Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
I have a different idea of how I'm going to fix that, but it won't be now. I'll have to post it after I finish this.
So
Because
with
I
this
went
flower,
way too
I'll
far.
just have some dimensionals there, and then it's just going to angle on here. We good there? And then with all of that in place, now it is easy to just come in here and tie this bow. I'm still going to use a little glue dot to hold my knot in place just so that my bow is nice and tight, but I'm going to just stick that little glue dot right here. And then how are you guys doing with bow tying? Are we all good on that step?
Not yet. Get there. Oh, so pretty.
Yeah,
Just
isn't it? Just
Mhm.
unbelievable. That gold leafing just makes it pop.
I'll have to post some other samples. I haven't made any other ones yet, but some different ways. I know Laura has a different sample that she can share at some point as well.
For sure.
How to use this stuff. It's so, I don't know, just got a real big wow factor, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Like gold embossing powder is nice. This just has a different element to it.
Yeah, it's got more texture to it.
Yeah. Okay. So I have tied my bow and I will go ahead and add the embellishments. Do you guys need an extra minute with bow tying or are you good now?
Maybe just a minute.
I'm gonna wrap my other one up Put it away.
Oops. Oops, a daisy. What are the name of these dots, Alanna?
These are the gold glitter enamel dots. And we use these on all 3 cards. Not this particular little package I gave you. I included them in each one, but it's the same type of embellishment that I've used on all 3.
That is just gorgeous.
They're really pretty.
Wow. I can't believe I did that.
Hopefully you learned something new today and you're
Oh,
I love it. All right, so we're good to add the embellishments.
yeah, where are they?
So what I do is I put, you should have 3 sizes there. So you should be able to use take your pick tool. So I just picked up, it might actually be too, this big one might be a little too big. So I think I have to pick that one up there. And this one's gonna go, I went a little too low with my stem, but that's okay. No one else will ever know. Just
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I did the largest one of the 3 sizes that I'm using up here, and then the medium sized one here, and then the small one up on the flower. If you want to put that somewhere else, you can. If you had too much of the gold leafing that you're not going to notice it and you decide you want to put it somewhere else, you can totally put it somewhere else. Mine is not playing nice. It's now stuck to my mat. It's like a flyaway, wants to go dancing with the gold leafing. There. So I just stuck it right on the flower here. It's kind of lost there, but if you want to put it somewhere else, you can totally move it. But that is that card.
Beautiful.
So impressed with all of you. I love it.
So beautiful.
Now I gotta see.
Well, I messed up on my greeting, so I'm not showing you mine because I did the same thing, but I think I'm gonna make a little something to cover it, and then it'll still say happy birthday underneath, but I'll have something else on top, but I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. And you can always just cut a new white piece. So here's a tip. If you're really unhappy with your stamping underneath, cut a new white layer and just layer it over top. I have absolutely done that if you need to do that.
oh,
Looks good.
so pretty.
Love it.
Very nice. Everybody's looks so pretty.
Are we good to have me show you the next one?
Nope, we need to do bingo first.
Oh yes, thank you.
I think I'm hooked on gold leafing.
Yeah.
Okay, bingo numbers. Hang on. We have, first number is N39.
You need me to write them down or are you writing them
Oh,
down?
I got them. 064. N40. G50. And G58. No bingos?
Somebody must be getting close.
Not I.
Not I.
All right. Gonna go to the breakout room and share those numbers with them.
Somebody there will yell bingo.
Maybe.
Okay. So I will show you guys what is in the supplies for the next card. So you
Which
have-
one are we doing? That.
Yeah, because I needed 8 before this.
Hi.
Would
Hi,
you like the
Alanna.
next bingo numbers?
Yes, I think I missed one or two because I was just watching the live and I realized you were doing it.
Ah, that's
Okay.
a good call. Okay, we have N39 and N40, G50 and G58, and O64.
Well, that was a little less than helpful, but thank you.
Well, Diane didn't like the numbers either, if that makes
Oh,
you feel any
good.
better. I will be back with more at 4:30.
Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
thanks.
Something to line that with. So that's what that is for. And a textured, surprise, surprise, it's textured with the subtle folder. And then I'm gonna just keep out exactly what I need. You need 1 piece of this acetate. And if you wonder why it's peeling, we do actually need to take that off. So mine's coming off. I'm just gonna take that off now. It comes with that protective film on it. So you need 1 of your petal pink pieces of cardstock and then 2 of these. You can tuck the rest of those back in your bag for now. You're going to need this. We're going to cut it in half. So don't start stamping on that before cutting it in half. You'll trim it in half to use half on each card. You need 2 of these flowers for each card. So you can put 2 back in your bag, and then just keep your bag of embellishments handy for when we get to that part there. So I'm just going to get the rest of this out of the way. I'm going to set aside this. You guys are going to use this one. So you keep the one that I have scored and cut for you handy, but I'm going to demonstrate how to do that with this full card base of mine here. And then you guys can revisit this when, if and when you're ever ready to do these again. So on this cutter, there is a cutting blade and a scoring blade. I'm going to, for now, leave this cutting blade. It's the dark one, so you can see when they're side by side. The gray one is for scoring. Make sure that I'm accurate. That one is not sharp. And the black one is for cutting. So that's out of the way. I'm gonna just lift up this arm and I am going to slide this end to the 1-inch mark. So at the 1-inch mark, I'm going to close this and I'm pulling this up. I'm not letting it apply pressure right now. I've just sort of lifted it enough to get it over to here. I do have to stand up, so hopefully I'm not in your guys' way. And I'm going to just apply pressure and score this over to the 1-inch mark. And then I'm going to lift. I did not score across there. I just lifted it up so it wasn't applying pressure. And I'm going to go from 4 1/4 into the 3 1/4. So I'm basically scoring just 1 inch on either side. Then I'm going to slide this over to the 2-inch mark. And I'm going to score 1 inch in on that side and 1 inch in on that side. Then I'll just keep on going here. Here's the 5 1/2. Now here, I am not going to do the outsides. I'm going to lift this in to the 1-inch mark and I'm going to score over to the 3 1/4. So I'm going to apply pressure here. Stop
And you're
at the,
going to put a template and instructions on the page.
I'm going to try to. I'll see if I can come up with how to do a
But even
draw.
if you put the instructions, that would be helpful.
Yeah. And then take this end, slide it over to the 6 1/2. And again here, score 1 inch in on that side and 1 inch in on this side. Okay, so that's all the scoring. I'm not sure that you guys can see it with the lighting in here, probably not. So I'm gonna just, so basically I've got score on the inside, and then these 2 outside scoring lines. So now I'm gonna move my scoring blade out of the way and I'm gonna use the cutting blade. So I'm lining this up to the 1-inch line on this side now so that I can put its measurement there. And I'm going to take this cutting blade. Now I have the scoring line, this is the last scoring line, the 6.5 one, and I'm going to slice from here down to this one. So I want to, actually at 4.5 on this side. So I'm going to depress the blade there. I want to make sure I stop 1 inch away from the end. So I've only scored or cut from here to here. And I'll show you that. So you can see I've made this look like yours are. Now I need to flip it over, line it up at the 1 inch line again. And I want to go from this last scoring line up to this one here. I can't tell you how many times I started here and sliced right through and had to restart when I was sending these to you guys. Okay, so now I have these 2 side panels here, and you guys can grab yours and we will follow along with each other on how to fold this so that we have this center, I think it's a center panel easel. Anyway, now the way I did it, you guys don't have this funky little fold here. I just liked it better when it stayed straight up. Okay, so you can kind of see here, you can sort of envision now how that's going to become this. So now what we want to do, does everybody have this piece?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to fold these 2 down like this. And don't fold right here. Try to keep this middle section from folding at that measurement. Now we want to take this one and fold here. Okay. Now these 2 guys down here, the next fold, these are going to fold towards you. Then you'll have that. That makes sense? And it's going to fold down. So then now once we have all these, we should line up so that you've got this. I hope I did all of your score lines properly.
Well, isn't that just fancy?
So is this what we all have now? We've all got this?
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right. I love it. If you would like to, you can burnish your folds and that will just help it sort of stay flat while we're working on the rest. So I'm just going to set that aside, but look how nicely that stands. And this is why I didn't like that extra funky fold there. I think that it looks a little, I don't know, more intentional that way. The original one was great. It was a very good starting point. I would probably not have come up with this on my own if I hadn't had this other template. I designed this card. These were all my own designs. I just used a template for a center easel card. Okay, so we do need to grab our Stamparatus again. And this is the one that I used, the Flirty Flamingo and Old Olive. So it looks like I've got a few different colors, but it's really just 2. I used Flirty Flamingo for the flower, Pear Pizzazz for the, Old Olive for the stems. And you're going to need a scrap sheet for this one to stamp off on. Unless you want the bold, well, you do need to stamp the flower off anyway, but I have my stamp mat for stamping off and a scrap sheet here. And I'm going to take these flowers off. Do you guys have a negative space in your package?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
All right. Not sure that. Oops, see, I clapped mine together there too. Make it. Okay, so I need to just locate mine, but you guys can get your negative space and tuck it in the corner. I thought I had it handy here, but I am not finding one. Maybe I stuck it back in the bag. All right, 1 second. You guys can, while you're waiting for me to get set up, you can get this stamp out. And that's the one that we are going to put on our Stamparatus plate once we get our template set up. So if you're confident to go ahead and do just like we did on the last card, this will be a good test run for you to,
So it's Ferdy Flamingo on the flower and Old Olive on the leaves.
yes, yep.
No layering different colors or anything.
Yeah, we are going to do one extra little step here.
So I will wait.
Okay, so I'm just tucking this into the corner. I am going to grab that stamp. Okay, so I've lined that up in there, pick that up. And then before, I did have that square in the corner, so mine should still line up. It just shuffled everything because it's still pretty fresh. So if it shuffles and you've lined that up square in the corner, you should still be good. So I'm not going to put the die there just yet. I am going to oh, I said I'm not going to put this yet. So what we're going to do first, this is what I meant to grab. I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo ink and I'm going to ink this up. And without any dye there, I'm just going to stamp that. So that's stamping off. Do not re-ink this. Just leave that like that. And now put your die in place. So you can see here with this card, I have a two-tone set of flowers. This is going to allow us to use one ink and get a light tone as the base. Okay, now I have that light tone.
Oh, that's pretty dark.
So you stamp off the first one first, then put your set of dies in there. How are you guys with that step?
Okay.
Okay. And then you can actually just set this aside. You can leave this in here if you want to, if it's easier than getting out a stamp mat, but I'm going to just take this out. And you have this other little image. This one here.
Yep.
You're going to put that on a block. I'm going to move my Stamparatus out of the way. We do still need to use the Stamparatus for the green part, but for this next part here, I'll just show you this here. So to give this detail on the flowers, what you'll do is take this detail single flower image and ink it up with Flirty Flamingo or whatever your color you're using. And then just go over each petal separately or each flower. And then that's how you get your detail on each one. So just ink up again So that first time when we did the full set of flowers, we stamped off that image first, and that's how we got the lighter tone. And this time we're just applying the colors straight on. So we're getting the darker tone for the detail on all of those. That make sense?
That of her pretty.
Yeah, mine didn't stamp. I should have conditioned my stamps. It's just like bubbling.
Hmm.
The ink is just like little bubbles on top and it's not sinking in. So I'll redo this part later.
Okay.
Mine did that too, Janet.
So did you guys try the Versamark trick to tap it with Versamark first?
No, I should have. I didn't.
And that will
I'm
sort
gonna
of
try that.
grab to it as well. Okay, so we're gonna keep this. Now we're gonna bring back in, or not this one, sorry. We need our other die cut flower. Get it underneath here. And you can bring in your Stamparatus with that same template again. And your second die cut. So this is not going on top of that one that we already inked up. We're gonna clean this off. And I'm gonna just spray it straight on there, but be cautious that you're not overspraying onto any of your stuff that is sitting there. I say that from experience. Okay.
And we're doing this in Old Olive.
Yes. Yeah, if you have Pear Pizzazz and you want it full on, I chose to do Old Olive and stamped off because you get sort of the same stamped off or modeled type of look as with the stamped off Flirty Flamingo. But if you have Pear Pizzazz, you could also use that.
So you want us to stamp this off?
Yep, so we're going to, this is all lined up. I'm going to ink this up with Old Olive. I'm going to just wipe off my extra ink there. Now you're going to take this new die cut. Oh, wait, don't put that in there yet. Stamp off first. You asked that, Diane, and then I didn't do what I said.
But if
So-
you're using Pear Pizzazz, you don't have to stamp off.
Right. Yeah, you could just go straight on there. You could do Old Olive straight on there too, and it would still be really pretty. It would be more like that first card where the Old Olive was really bold.
Oh, okay.
If somebody does Old Olive straight on, you might have to show us just so we can see what it turns out like. So this is the Old Olive stamped off combined with the lighting is kind of poor right there. So that is the two colors, Old Olive stamped off and then Flirty Flamingo, both with the stamped off and the full strength. So now we can put the stamps away. And I'll close up my Old Olive, but we are going to need the Flirty Flamingo. We may as well get this stamping done so that we have just assembly left to do. You'll take your die cut label, or it's just a punch actually, and then just cut that in half. It doesn't have to be, it should be fairly close to exact, but.
What's the label?
What's that?
Which label is it?
I think it's the fancy label punch, but I will check for you guys. And you can see here that this greeting, it's kind of hard to tell with the lighting. It is very hard to tell, but this happy birthday is stamped. Yeah, it's very hard to tell. Anyway, it is stamped along the top here, and then it's just tucked in there. Super hard to tell with this lighting though. You guys can't see that, can you?
Nope.
Yeah, it is very hard to.
Every once in a while, oh, there, we can
Yeah.
see the edge now.
So it's just half of the punch tucked right there. All right, so if you guys want to, what?
Lana, your sound is gone if you're talking still. Oh, is she frozen?
So I will do
Okay,
We couldn't
we
hear
couldn't
you.
hear you.
me.
Yeah,
Oh, what happened? What did you hear up to?
Stamp something.
Okay, so I was saying that it won't take you much longer to stamp both greetings if for this step you want to just get both done.
Okay.
The other step will still stick to just one, but this one, if you want to do both of them, that would be okay. So I'm going to do a happy birthday and a thank you, I think. I do like the greetings in this set. They've got a good variety in there. Okay, so that is all we need to do for stamping on this card. And now it's basically just fairly simple layering. How are you guys doing?
Getting
How do you-
there.
What's that?
How do you glue that clear piece on? What are you using for that?
For which piece?
For the clear gold.
I'll show you guys. Okay. So you're going to use take out one piece of your ribbon. And should be enough to just wrap, yeah, this piece here. We want to go so that we have enough room to put this greeting below it. So when you're tying this around here, just lay it on your card and gauge your spacing so that you have room to put this half a label so that this bottom little peak here isn't going below this portion here. So just kind of
That white strip of paper.
What's that?
You don't have that white strip of paper you're using.
You don't have two of these in there?
No. No.
Are they tucked in between any of the other pieces in your bag?
No, because my bag is all out. So I've got the strips.
Here, 1 second.
Found them.
Okay.
Alanna, I only have one of the flower dies.
Hidden.
So I wasn't able to stamp one with the green.
Is that Maria?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what do you have?
So I only have one of those flowers, 3 flowers.
One
That
of them?
one, yeah, I only have one.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to make the green one.
It's really hard to hear you. Do you have something over your speaker? Is it just me?
No, I just
Oh.
wasn't able to stamp the green ink because I only have one.
Okay, only one, not even
Yeah,
one.
Should have 4 altogether.
Yeah.
no, got, yeah.
I can walk you through after how to do that.
I had
no
5.
problem.
I had 5.
Oh
You
dear.
have mine.
I had 5, so I ruined one, so I was good.
Okay, so Maria, if you have the dies there, don't feel you have to stop and do it now. I can walk you through this again later. This part is actually, we can do the rest of it, and this is something you can easily add on after, and I can walk you through that. Or if you want to, you could always just go die cut one in white cardstock and catch up if you'd like to, or I can cut more and send them to you.
Yeah, I can.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you there.
I said I can cut them and I'll probably just do it later on.
Okay, so if we continue with this part here, then I can help you catch up on the flower after, because it's like the last little thing that just goes on at the end. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so for this part here, we can still carry forward with this. So what you guys will do is just make sure that you've got, I'm just placing this here as a guide. And I just want to make sure that I'm going to tie this little knot high enough up to allow room for this half of a punch for the greeting. So this one here, you've got enough there that we can just wrap all the way around and tie in a knot. This one, I did not do the trick where we tape it on either end.
And you're knotting it off to one side, correct?
So I'm just to the right there.
Okay.
The way the stem is sort of a little bit more off to the right of the flower, so that is why I chose that. I love this ribbon. I think it's very pretty. You probably have like way more than what you need. Probably could have gotten 2 out of that, but. And then you can just trim that down. I'm trimming it down now just to get that extra ribbon out of my way because it's kind of bulky. And then now you can go ahead and I use the tape to tape this down nice and secure. And it will be just partially down this panel here. I didn't go the full way down. And that's because it's going to get hidden behind this portion here. So it's okay that that doesn't go the whole way, but you want to get that one ready with double-sided tape if you have it. That way it's just not flopping off the front of your card. I buy a meeting planner for my team meetings, and in that, this template was, that's where I got the template for the card. It had those poinsettias from Christmas time. Do you remember that, Laura? I sent that one to you.
Yeah.
So that's where the style of card came from, was from that, but then I just switched it out so that we could use it with this stamp set.
It works.
Okay, so this is just going to get adhered down to the middle.
Okay.
That's there. And then I just put a little piece of tape on the back of that happy birthday piece and just tacked it down there. So it doesn't need much. And if it's just a little bit, then it gives you a little playroom to just sort of gently tuck it under the ribbon a little bit. I love this punch. I hadn't even used it until I made this card. And now I'm like, it's perfect. Okay. So Mary, you were asking how to attach these. What I did here was I just used some glue dots and strategically put, I only used 2. So like right here behind that foil, just find 2 spots, one on either end, where the gold detail will mostly hide your glue dot. You can see up close. You can still see a little bit of one hiding behind there, and then put another one here, but just find 2 spots where it's mostly hidden. Tack that foil piece down to.
Thought there was a special little trick or something.
No, just that.
Just
The
that.
trick is not to look too closely.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know that unless you're using a bigger piece where it's fully hidden, there isn't really a way to hide it. So kind of tell that they're there, but so now those 2 pieces are stuck together, and now you can go ahead and glue down the piece of petal pink cardstock across the front there.
Oh, we need another bingo because it's 4:41.
Eeks, sorry. Hopefully
Uh-oh.
we.
Okay, I'll share my screen and do another round here.
Taking longer than anticipated.
All right. Next number is N44. and N34,
Yay.
O66, I16, and final number is N42.
No bingo yet?
I don't even know why I stopped making a card for that.
Okay, I'm gonna pop out to the breakout room. I'll be back.
All right, so I am going to
I bet you
Here she
someone's gonna
comes.
get it.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
did someone win?
Not yet. But let's see if someone here does.
I don't think so.
Okay, are you ready for the numbers?
Yes,
N34, N44, N42, and O66. And the last one is B16.
I got 2 of them.
And Melanie, how did you do?
I got 2 of those. I just need 2 more.
Okay, well, hopefully
I
we'll
need-
get them.
I need 3 more. It's got to be
Ooh.
close now.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. All
Hopefully
right,
not
we'll be
everyone
back.
calls it.
There's really not much pattern left on this piece here. And you can always
There it is.
flatten it. If you want, in order to attach these, it might be easier to flatten this, your whole card, when you're putting those down. I didn't do that on my other one, but
Alanna, we have 15 minutes before the closeout of the
okay.
of our time. Are we going to be able to get the last card finished in that time?
Oh, I don't know. We could try.
Okay.
Well, how does everybody?
What happens in 15 minutes?
We're done.
Like the Zoom ends?
Well, I can continue the Zoom, but the individuals in the breakout session would be coming out. What do we have for wrap up, Alanna? I'm drawing a blank, other than maybe finishing our bingo.
We have this sketch challenge draw to do and the bingo. And is that everything? Just trying to think of what draws we had.
Do we want to, I guess everyone who has done a sketch can just show us a sketch and we'll do the wheel of names that way and play our bingo names until we're done. And then we can come back and finish these cards.
Sure. Is
Will
everybody
that
else?
work for everyone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
We'll finish this card
Excuse
and then
me, how do you attach the acetate?
I just used a glue dot and strategically put it behind where there was the most gold detail. So I have one hiding behind here and one hiding behind this intersection of gold
The
there.
little tiny ones?
I use the regular ones, but if you have the little tiny ones, those would be good to use. Okay, so you've got the white layer with all this, the 2 side panels of DSP. We have this piece on here. And then I'll show you guys how to do this part here. And Maria, I'm happy to help walk you through this part again if you haven't already caught up on your own. So what you'll do is I just cut off with my snips. I cut the pink petals just by coming in here like this. So I just followed that line and cut those off. So these 2 I kept intact to each other. And then the same thing from this one to this one. So I just cut that off there. And then I just cut this off here so that I didn't have those stems showing. So now this here will layer on top of that. And I want this other individual bloom. And the rest I left in green. So I've cut this off. And then do you see how it has these two little bits of stem, or three? I just cut around those to eliminate them as well. And I did it this way to save you from having to use, say, marker to color over different portions of the stamp. You can do that if you prefer to do that versus all these extra steps. But so now we're just going to glue that down, and we're going to glue this down to here.
And did you glue them flat?
I did.
Okay.
You could dimensional them if you wish to. I dimensionaled the whole stem down to the card, but this part I just glued. Though I feel like when I do my second one, I might have to try dimensionals.
Just in the on the camera, it looks like they might have some more.
It definitely. Yeah, totally does.
Lift.
Okay, so those are all glued together now. And then you can just put them onto your card with dimensionals. How are you doing, Maria? Did you manage to cut one of those, or should we catch up on that later?
Yeah.
What's that?
I managed to get it.
Okay. I think the stamp is so pretty.
All done. I gotta figure out how to do those cuts after.
What's
As I'm all done, but now I gotta figure out how to do those cuts and those.
that? in the card base?
Yeah.
I was tempted to do them both, and then we were like, but will you guys ever learn to do it if I just do both? So
You've been listening to Laura too much. She doesn't do those either.
like, well, we should let you guys learn so that you know how to.
Yeah.
All right. So then you should be left with just your embellishments. Oh, and look, there's the negative space right there hiding underneath. I knew I had one. Okay, so here's where I put these ones. I did two of the same size here, and then one little mini one up there. Yeah, these aren't playing nice today for me.
This is a big day today.
You guys are all going to be exhausted later.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it.
We're almost there.
It's so beautiful. This is a beautiful card. This is
They're all very
I feel so proud of all of you. Now I'll show you guys something really quick. You're asking about the acetate. So this card here is one that I will add to the virtual launch page. Now, like I showcased the hydrangeas last weekend, and I did showcase this technique, but not this exact card. And I could not showcase this card because it had to be posted somewhere else first that was only posted yesterday. And so
wow.
that's why I hadn't shared it. But the acetate is down this side. And so it's all attached with a strip of tape underneath here, and you don't see it. So if you're going to use a piece where you can just fully hide the adhesive, then you can just go ahead and use your tape. But with this one, there's nowhere to hide it. So that's why I just kind of strategically placed the glue dots. But here it's just fully run down the side, and same thing here. Basically the same layout. It's just the flowers done two different ways.
Cool.
And I showed the silver side. This acetate has the reverse side. There's a pink and a purple. And actually you could have used the reverse side of this to I believe. I think one side is gold, one side is silver. Pretty sure that's how that one goes. All right.
Where did, oh, let me just see where your embellishments are. Oh, yeah, okay, pretty.
There, and then the little small one there.
Should I go and let everyone from the breakout room know to come back?
Sure. Yeah, we're done
Okay.
this.
And I will stop this recording.
I came
So
back.
if anybody's going back for this recording, it will be in 3 parts.